NZQ. Good morning. We have just got up and we're just here. We're going to talk about a couple of things. First, we're going to talk about this retrofit of this classic RV. Um, it's classified as an Avion. It's a very, very rare camper motorhome. Um, it back in the day, it was equivalent to a drivable Airstream. Uh, as you can see, it has a kitchen. Beyond that brown door back there, the folding door is a bathroom. You have your kitchen, sitting area, which can be converted into a bed. I'm sitting in on the couch. I think it also can be converted to a bed. Have a speaker, um, your battery, your readouts for behind the speaker. I may need to replace this speaker because it's kind of in the way. But here's your water pump. I don't know if you can hear it. That's on. Battery condition, which is reading good. Have a generator, which can fire up. Listen, that's the generator. Have what is that beyond that? Holding tank. Let's see if we can turn on this light. See if we can get a better illumination. All right. Let's go back. You have battery level, water level, LP gas, holding tank, battery condition, and water pump. There's the thermostat. This other extra stuff is, like a temperature gauge, thermometer for indoors, speaker. These we use these a lot. They're Flyloom, Flyhoom, however you pronounce that. So there's a Hampton rechargeable fan, which these two things they work really good. Uh, the light has a remote. I can turn on the fan. Once this fan is recharged, so like I said, it's a rechargeable fan. This will last all night. Um, you can hook it up to a USB cord. Um, it'll run. It will run all night, which keeps it quite cool in here. Summertime, wintertime, it keeps it quite cool in here. Um, so, but we do have an AC unit that's above. So when we're on shore power, we kind of use that, but it's kind of loud. We're trying to quiet everything down. Um, we tinted the windows. We has a screen. You can open the window, let fresh air. The other window on the other side to give that cross breeze. So this RV, I don't find aesthetically you can find better looking RVs, but as far as the quality, because of the aluminum shell, because of the round uh, roof structure, these things never leak. That's why you can always find a Airstream on the road. It could be a model that was from the 1978. It could be a model from 1976 on the road, still functioning, still solid because they designed these things to never leak. They have spray foam insulation in it. Before spray foam was popular, uh, the rib, the framing is made out of aluminum. So these things were built really well. The only problems I've had with these type RVs or campers is the bathroom area where uh, uh, they would leak behind the windows. Water would get on the floor because the floor is made out of composite wood. Um, Sometimes they would use plywood in certain areas, but it would rot out, so you would have to replace the floor. And that's what we did. We replaced the entire bathroom. That'll be on a later. Stay tuned. Uh, so what we're doing now, want to do now is come in and paint. Uh, we've upgraded a lot of things. We've got 200 watts worth of solar on the roof. We're right at 13.4, so we're gonna go back. We got everything wired up. Now we're gonna hide the wires, make everything look a little bit more presentable. But certain things you need to do. We're gonna replace this glass right here that's cracked. So we may do away with the glass entirely and just put a sheet of metal there. But the more sunlight, the better, especially during the wintertime. We've got a new refrigerator. There's a new refrigerator that came with the vehicle when we got it. So it's got a lot of cabinet space. It rides good. Went through the motor. We have to do, which will be another upcoming stream. We're gonna redo the brakes on this thing. We put in a new power steering pump, water pump, tuning up, but the engine is really good. So there's a problem with the engine as far as cooling. These things are, if you don't maintain them, they're known to overheat, especially if you're pulling another camper behind it, something heavy. But we haven't had any problem. We've taken it out on several occasions. We just make sure that we check the fluid levels, but it does need a new water pump. It's not leaking or anything. It's just, we just want to upgrade it. Want to put replace it with a extremely good thermostat. We might replace the radiator with an aluminum air cooled, fan cooled radiator to help with the cooling. So we're going through all of that because these type campers, these type motorhomes, not campers, but motorhomes, are worth keeping. If you decide to sell them, you can get a premium price for it. So other things we're going to do, we're going to paint these cabinets. I don't know. It's solid wood, has an oak finish, so it might restain it. I hate painting over wood. I just really do. We're gonna clean this or redo. This is like a cloth finish, vinyl finish. It gets cloth though. But anyway, I'm gonna clean that up. I'd like to get rid of the air conditioning, go with a mini split, but I don't know where to place a mini split in this thing. So we've got a lot to do, but as of now, this is usable. We've replaced the floor with vinyl. We have a working, as you can see, a working stove, 3-burner propane stove. Everything, just little things that need to be replaced, fixed. But yeah, this is it. So our next conversation during this event is going to be just, living off grid. This unit has everything that a person, two people, I think two people could live in here comfortably. I mean, you have to be willing to have a second person in here, but um, two people could be live in here quite comfortably. You have a stand-up shower, uh, tub, toilet, sink, kitchen, adequate cabinets for the whole clothing, food. Uh, this unit is I think it's 27 feet long from the front to the back, the front bumper to the back bumper. Interior is probably the living quarters probably 16, 17 feet. Um, so it's matter of fact, I spent the night in here last night. Watched television, had dinner. Uh, it's, if I wanted to go somewhere, I could take my house with me. This is truly a home. All right, so living off grid. Let's get with that. Living off grid is you're a person being disconnected from utilities, um, water, sewage. Um, you're not tied down with a mortgage, rent, or that sort of stuff. So in 2025, I would suggest that, especially with young people, that's what they do. That's what they should do. Uh, that's my idea. That's my thoughts. But to each his own. Some people, uh, especially, I will say this. I will say this. It may be controversial, but this is my belief. Most men do things to keep women happy. So most women are not going to go for something like this. They're not going to sign off on living in an RV, a camper, because unless you make this aesthetically pleasing, most women are not going to sign off for it. But if it looks good, feels good, most women will they'll sign off on it. Now, that like I said, that may sound chauvinistic, but like I said, my belief. I know I'm probably going to get slammed behind it, but I don't care because I've been living this life for a couple of years now, and I'm telling you, this is I've had I've I've got control of houses. Uh, we work with apartment buildings. We work with houses, commercial properties. Yeah, I wouldn't go back into a house. Because a house, even with this, there's certain things you have to do to maintain it. I mean, they have to change the tires, and they need new tire. You got to change the motor oil. Uh, but if you live in something like this, there's no grass to cut. There's there's no roof to maintain other than maybe just going up there making sure it's clean. You may have to, you know, put some paint up there, some cool sealant up there if you have a flat roof. This thing, I pressure wash it. We pressure wash it. We wash it. Make sure there's no debris and stuff up there. That's it. It may take 45 minutes. That's it. Um, Apartment buildings, houses, every 15 years you got to replace the roof. If you don't want any problems, 15, 20 years you're going to replace those roofs. There's always a plumbing issue. This thing, if you're if you're if you know how to work uh, the situation, it has a holding tank. Um, you can do your business. You dump it. Go on about your business. This unit was manufactured in 1978. 1978, and it's still on the road. It's still on the road. It is in excellent shape. Um, has little issues. Got to maintain it. Change the oil. Check the fluids. Like every couple of years you may have to redo the brakes. But the money you would save on a unit like this, um, I mean, it's let's say you're paying $1,200, $2,000, $3,000 a month rent. This thing, what, $40 worth of gas, fill it up, take it. What between let's be honest, between $40 to $80 to take it somewhere. Put in some gas. May visit the next city. May go out of town. May go out of the state. Visit another state. Um, this is living without problems. You have problems, but not the problems you would have living on grid. You're tied down to a city. Um, you're married. You might go through a divorce. You got to sell your house, give her half. He takes half. Uh, Motorhome or camper. If it's in your name, you may have to sell it, but you can buy another camper. You can buy another motorhome. With the money that you would save versus paying utilities every month. Like I said, this thing has. I hope I don't sound like I'm rambling, but this thing has 200 watts worth of solar. It can hold 300 to 400 watts. Like I said, we're just doing with the solar panels we have up there now. It's just 200 watts. It provides all the lighting at night. We watch television. We can watch YouTube or stream internet endlessly without worrying about a power shortage. The other day we just had a storm that came through here, and normally we'll get in a camper or RV and leave just in case there's issues with the weather. We decided to stay. Well, guess what? The power went off in the neighborhood. This was the only property that had power because this our structures are totally off grid. So when the power lines go down, we don't worry about that. When the uh, gas company comes out and turns off your gas, we don't worry about that. If there's a storm, we just crank up our vehicles and we go to the next spot. Like I said, this life is not for everybody. It's not for everybody, but it is for the person that's thinking about, well, I don't want to work a job for 30 years, retire, um, have what, 15, maybe 15, 20 years, the rest of my life to enjoy what? Cutting grass on the weekends, going up on the roof, cleaning out your gutters, uh, replacing a water heater, doing this, that, and the other. Um, because you know what? Most relationships, I would say 95% of all relationships, excuse me, end due to financial problems. Somebody is believing that the other person is not contributing more than what they should. They're contributing less. They're contributing less than what they should contribute. So the arguing, the resentment kicks in. It's not that people, you know, don't love one another. Love is the area, the world that we live in, the United States that we live in, is based on one thing and one thing only: financial status. This this country is a capitalist society. So there are some people that understand it. There's some people, that don't. Some people will be committed to you irregardless of what you have. They'll go through the struggles with you. They'll endure the hardships. But then there's that 90% that if things are not going their way, they're not feeling warm and fuzzy in the middle, they're gonna book. they're gonna have they're gonna have problems with the way, what you're doing, what you're not doing. So this is a way to alleviate that. The stress, the struggles, I might get fired tomorrow, I might lose everything. If let- let's just do the math. Let's just do the math. Let's say you work a minimum wage job. All right, you living off grid. You don't have a light bill, mortgage. You don't have any type of bills whatsoever other than putting gas in your vehicle. Uh, you have insurance on it. That's it. You're making minimum wage. Let's say you make $200 a week, $300 a week. Well, guess what? You live this lifestyle, you get to keep 90% of what you make. You can eat out when you want to. You can go to the movies when you want to. Uh, one of my favorite lines is we went to the movies together. We went dancing together. So you could do that, no problems. You have an apartment, mortgage, uh, renting a house. Unless you're making in today's time, you'd have to be making at least, at the very minimum, especially you have 2, 3 kids, you have to be making at least $6,000 to $8,000 a month. That would include retirement, saving for retirement. If your kids want to go to college, you're saving money to buy a car when your car breaks, gets old, outdated. Um, you might want to you're saving to upgrade your home, move to a bigger home. $6,000 to $8,000 a month. I don't know too many people. Well, I take that back. I do know quite a few people that's making that kind of money, but they're millionaires. Um, the circles that the people that we tend to deal with are financially secure, but the ones that are, they're guess what? They're living like this. They're buying the $1 million motorhome. They're buying the $500,000 RV. They're traveling. They're going to NASCAR. They're traveling the country. They're traveling the world. They're not tied down to a house. Most of the people, some of the people that I know that are my age, our age, roundabout, their kids are grown. They're just graduating college. These people they're giving the kids their homes. I've got a friend. Got a friend. He and his wife, farmers. Uh, before before we got into the RVs, he told me, he said, "Well, look, I just gave my daughter. He has a daughter. He said I gave my daughter our farm, and she and her husband are going to move on that farm, and they're going to maintain. They're going to pay the taxes. We didn't charge them anything. Um, We gave them that, and we bought this RV. And when I saw him, he was at a local big box store, and he was getting some supplies for his RV. They're about to leave the city, the state, to go visit some places. And I said to myself, I said, man, that's pretty cool. So and he told me, he said, he's an older guy, he's older than I am. He said, man, I'm getting burned out. I'm cutting hay for my horses every weekend. I'm maintaining this farm, and it's a young person game. So he said, my daughter and her husband, they can handle it. So that's what these people are doing. The the middle class, they're struggling. Man, the middle class is struggling. The lower middle class, they have it even worse. I mean, we see it every day. People they're short tempered. They're they're they don't know what to do. They're out buying stuff. They're out thinking that if I get this, it's going to make me feel better. Um, if we can, people are taking vacations. They're going on these cruises that they're trying to escape the problems for a couple of days, but when they get back, it's the same problems. So, like I said, this is not for everyone, but just think about it. Just think about it. So a lot of people are not going to tell you uh, what it is. They will talk about being successful, but they won't tell you how to do it. They'll give you little bits and pieces here and there and that sort of stuff, but going from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you're either going to have to pay them, um, you're going to have to do something in order to get that, because most people that that have achieved financial independence, they had to sacrifice. They had to do things that were very unpleasant to get where they are. And I mean, while everybody else is out partying, they're working. While everybody else is out traveling, they're coming up with a game plan so they can travel indefinitely. All right. Most people they take a vacation once a year. Some people they take a vacation every week. They can be gone for 2 years, 3 years, and not even worry about it. So, and some of the people, they're not multimillionaires. They just know how to handle money. They know that it's you don't want the things controlling you. You control the things. People's they I'm working for that paper. No, the paper works for me. And I'm not talking about investing in the stocks. Because this is the thing that I've always asked. I've met met guys uh that tell me, yeah, I'm investing in the stocks. And I'm like, okay, can you show me how you pull that money out, take it out of stock market, and you're living off of it? Now I know with dividends, you can get dividends that reinvest in the stocks. You can get dividends that pay you monthly. I want to see the dividends that are paying you monthly that you're living off of. Because most of the people that I know that have stock investments is just in that they're paper rich. They're stock rich. But as far as taking that money out, and let's say, I've met some people that said, well, I took the money out and I paid off my house. Bruh, that is one of the most idiotic. Like I said, it's just my opinion. Because look at what you're doing. You're taking the money out of stock. You're paying off a house. Still has taxes. Still has maintenance. You still have to be there. You can't go anywhere. That thing has you tied around the ankles. You can't leave your house. You have to be there. You got to be there. You can't leave a house for more than 3 months. You just can't. You can't really leave the houses that they're building now. You can't leave that thing for more than 2 months. Yeah, come back and and you haven't lived in it. Come back and uh you haven't been utilizing the toilets, the water. See if okay, just leave it and come back. So, it's it's mind-boggling. It's a mind-blowing thing to me. And like I said, I was there. A lot of people have been there. We've been in that belief system that the American dream to own a house, 3 bedroom house, 4 bedroom house, with the kids, the dogs, is the American dream. 2025, that's the American nightmare. You look at California, you look at places like New York, um, Washington, Seattle. These places, Detroit, these places are, it is uninhabitable. And what I mean by that is it will take everything you have to financially survive in those places. That's why these people are moving to the deep south. The cost of living is a great deal lower. Taxes are a great deal lower. So when they retire, they're moving to the south. They're moving to South Carolina, North Carolina, Mississippi, places like that, Alabama. So they're moving to these places, but they're driving up the cost of living. So in a decade or two, it will be just like those other places in California, New York. It's like the wheels on the bus go round and around. They never stop. So you have to, I wouldn't say you have to, but you should think about thinking outside the box. That square box, which is a house. Because it's not a home. A home is a place where it's yours. You go there, you don't worry about anybody suing you, taking it. You don't have to worry about, wind coming through, uh, making you homeless, fire. You have those type worries, or you can be concerned with those type things in an RV, but to lose an RV due to natural disaster, it's not like losing a home to natural disaster or losing a house to natural disaster. Because when that thing is gone, it is, some of these insurance companies, they're not even paying out. Those fires that they had in California, a lot of these insurance companies, they pulled out. State Farm pulled out. A lot of these companies left those people holding the bag. So just think about, like I said, just look at the reality of things. You can research everything I've said. You can research it on the internet. You can go. You can call the government. You can call your local government, state, federal government, and find out what the statistics are of uh, mortgage failures, foreclosures, uh, how many people are really uh, seeing the benefits of retirement. Can people retire? What's the age limit of retirement now versus 20 years ago, 30 years ago? Um, You can call your banker. If you have one, you can call the bank and find out, well, okay, or even a stockbroker. You can find out, ask him and say, well, how much money do you think I need to live comfortably uh, with retirement? How much money do you think I need? How much do you think I need, if I want to send my kids, if I want to provide a place to live for my children, my grandchildren? How much do you think they will need once they get to be my age? And I'm telling you, it will put you in a place of reality. Now, most people will say, well, I'll be dead. I'm not going to even worry about that. Yeah, those type of people I stay away from. Because they're just thinking about themselves, you know. Um, and upon death, it's not going to matter whether they're alive or dead. They're not really doing anything to help anybody anyway, except themselves. So you you think about that. Look at the uh, off-grid living. Look at how people are transitioning from home housing, owning a house, to owning maybe just a strip of land that has no infrastructure on it. Um, so one other thing to deviate from what I was talking about, one other thing also is that the government is making changes to everything, right? Um, I think President Trump has signed or trying to bring into law, you can't be on Section 8 for more than 2 years. I've heard, I don't know how true that, I've heard certain things like if you own a car, you can't get like food stamp. Um, they're fighting that people take care of themselves versus the government taking care of them. Is it right? Is it wrong? I'm not here to debate that. What what your focus should be is, okay, let me rely on myself. I don't want somebody snatching the rug out from underneath me or my family. So, as I stated before, some people are very selfish. They only think about things that will benefit them. You could be married to an individual like that. It could be the husband or the wife. That's why the Bible says you have to be equally yoked. Especially if you have children, you have to think about the welfare of your kids. If you have a person that is sold out to the system, that's the only thing that they're going to understand. They want you to be in debt. That's all they know. They talk debt. They talk, yeah, well, everybody else is doing. You got to pay bills. You have to. I mean, how can you avoid it? How can you avoid? How can you avoid? I had a person tell me when I've been in construction just about all my life. My dad, um, I know how to build things and work on things. But anyway, um, when I found out about this movement, that's what I call it. I found out about this movement. I went to Harbor Freight and I bought um, a little solar panel kit. I think it was like $89 back then, or 100 and some bucks back then. And I took it to the house we were living in, and I read up on it, learned how to, put it together, looked it up. I even went outside. I built a little room for the batteries and stuff. Drilled a hole through the wall so I can run all my wires. And I just wanted to power my television, um, my kids' computers, their little video games that they were playing during that time. Well, guess what? My light bill went down. I think it was like $48. It was $48 because I powered the television, powered computers, I powered. I had some lights that I was running off of it. Because I bought four deep cycle, well, not deep. I bought four LED, not, I'm sorry, lithium ion batteries from a used battery supplier. Um, there was batteries that they got from a hospital that they were using to do CAT scans or something that they were using on a rolling cart, and they had these big batteries. So I bought. They were $40 a piece. I bought four of them. So I installed those things. I ran the charge controller to it, solar panels to it. My light bill went down around $48 because think about it. Most people, where do they spend their time when they're home? They're in the den, they're in the great room, they're looking at television, they're in a common area. You don't spend that much time in your bathroom. You go in there, take a shower, you're in and out. Um, you go in there, do your business, so the light is not on. I mean, there's only maybe one or two lights in a bathroom. You have a GFI uh, outlet in there, run your hair dryer and that sort of stuff. But so you're not in there. But that den, the kitchen, where everybody's gathering, that's where the refrigerator, you know, that's where you are. So I connected to solar, and I ran those utilities off of my solar. Like I said, my light bill went $48. So I got excited. I got really excited. So I bought more solar panels. Christmas would come. By this time, my family members were up in age. My sons asked me, "Well, Dad, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want for Christmas?" I said, "Hey, look, you don't have to get me anything. I don't really need. But if you are so inclined, I don't want any clothes. I don't want any shoes. I don't want anything like that. Buy me something that's related to solar." So they would buy. I told them I want something that I can recharge. Was a flashlight. So I started converting from the grid to solar. Well, I got my light bill down to $27 a month. This is before they came out with the new uh, the smart meters. Well, guess what happened? This is a true story. My parents got sick. This was during COVID. My parents got sick, not from COVID, but they were just, up in age. They were in their late 80s. So I went home to visit my parents. By this time, my kids were out the house. I had a younger son that was still staying with me. They were out. So the older boys, they were out. So I got back from my parents a month later. My utility bill went back up to $178. So I called the utility company. I said, I think there's a problem with my bill. She said, "Well, sir, your bill has been quite low for." It was like 2 years at that point. I had a light bill of $27 for 2 years. They said, "We think it's something wrong with your meter." Now, first she said, "Well, yeah," she said, "Well, something wrong with your meter, and there's an inaccurate reading on the meter." I said, "How's that?" She said, "Well, don't you have like a electric water heater?" I said, "No." I said, "I have a gas water heater." "Don't you have an electric stove?" I said, "No, the stove is out." And took out the stove. I don't cook, so I never replaced the stove. We don't have an electric stove. So she was telling me all this stuff, and I said, you know what? I said, this lady she's just using an excuse. So I said, well, my bill has been $24, $27, $28, for the last 2 years. And I said, ma'am, I have solar. By this time I think it was 1,000 watts worth of solar on the house. I had a huge battery bank. Um, I was working all the time. Nobody was in the house except me and my son. We would only come home. Well, he was home after school, but I'd come home from work, watch a little television, um, go to bed. I'm like, what? So I said, well, hey, I'm not gonna pay it. She said, well, if you don't pay it, we'll cut off your lights. I said, you won't cut off my lights. She said, we will. I said, well, you will come and remove your meter from the house. I said, better yet. I said, hey, I don't need your connection from the grid. She said, what do you mean? I said, there's no laws stating I have to have electricity. I said, I want your meter, I want everything removed from this house. So they came out, they took it off. They sent someone from the electric company to and said, or asked me, well, what are you going to do for power? By this time, I had bought a generator, a 10,000 watt generator from Harbor Freight. I had 1,000 watts worth of solar. Only reason I bought the generator is because it snows here sometimes during the wintertime. And when the sun is not out, the solar panels, they'll have a problem charging the amount of batteries that now if I got more solar panels, wouldn't have been any problem. But I bought a generator. I said, well, I've got enough. Let me be my own utility provider. I have never looked back. They tried to get me to change my mind. Well, maybe we can send somebody out to reread your meter. I said, nah, take it off. Cause here's my thought on life. You screw me once. Why should I think you won't screw me again? Why should I continue to make the electric company, the utilities providers rich? Because look, when there's when there's a hurricane, lights get cut off, I don't see a reduction in my bill. I never saw a reduction in my bill. Sometimes light would be off 3-4 days, a week, sometimes. Because the grid is outdated. They're not doing like these other countries like Switzerland. They're not putting utilities underground. They're not using geothermal, where they're providing heat for your home. They're not doing that kind of stuff. The United States, the utility grid is outdated. They came out with get this. They came out with the LED bulbs. They're putting that in the houses of everybody, saying, "Oh, it's gonna." Yeah, has your bill gone down? You have LED televisions that are using only a fraction of the energy that the older televisions are using. You have USB this, USB that, C charging this. Those things are using milliamps. They're not using amps. They're using milliamps. So nobody's power bill is going down. Some people are paying $300-$400 a month utilities just on electric. Some people are paying $100-$200 for water. Gas is $300-$400 a month during the wintertime. Can be more than that. So you're looking at $1,200, $1,000 a month just in utilities. You got a mortgage, $3, $4, $5,000 a month. The middle class, lower middle class, is struggling. So if you don't think outside the box in 2025, you will be left behind. Not only that, if you think your job is secure, with AI, the 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 automated services that are coming through, I go in the stores, self checkout, you can't find an employee. They'll tell you, they scan this product. We'll tell you if it's available. We'll tell you what aisle it's on. The people that you do talk to, they are oblivious about the things that are in the place that they work. Most of the employees that work at these places, they don't know anything. You ask them, I'm telling you, I've been in construction, built things, designed things, uh, go into these places, you're looking for products. Hey, can you tell me about this product? I don't know. All the information you can look at, you just scan it, look it up on. So why why do you need an employee? On the computer can tell, these computers are telling you everything. And people that have skilled labor, such as myself, they're hard to replace. Dang near impossible to replace. But these people that are just working in customer representatives, man, AI, you know, uh, cashier, wait. One of my clients, they're bringing out robots that will bring you your food, place it on your table, tell you have a nice day. These things will never go out. They never call out sick. They never complain. They don't need pay raises. They don't need anything other than to be recharged at the end of the day. So if people truly believe that things are not going to affect them financially, that they truly believe that they can continue doing what they have always done, they are living in a world of delusion. They're just deluded. I mean, they have no idea of what's coming down the pipe. But they get told every day. You see it on the news. You see politicians talking about it. You see the president talking about it. You see all these people talking about, well, this is going to happen. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. But the technology is here where you don't have to be left out. Solar panels are one way. Nobody needs a light bill. uh, you can obtain a wood stove. Nobody needs a gas bill. You can you can you can buy, like I said, buy a piece of land, live off grid, buy an RV. No one really needs a home, a 30-year mortgage. Who needs a 30-year mortgage in 2025? What's the purpose behind a 30-year mortgage at 6, 7, 9% interest rate? What is the purpose of acquiring a house for 30 years of your life? You're 20, you're in your 20s, you get a house for 30 years. So by that time, hopefully by that time, you're in your 50s. I don't know of anybody that's paying off, too many people that's paying off a house by the age of 50. Because most people refinance, they pull out equity in their house. You know, you got these companies on television telling you, yeah, take out the equity out of your house. Man, it's just like you're starting all over again. Yeah, get that money out so you can use it the way that you want to use it. And people are falling for it. All right. So I've ranted long enough. So we'll have, we'll be, like I said, we'll be painting, uh, making this more aesthetically pleasing to live in. and I mean live in. So check us out. Peace out.